specters, but, technically specters aren't ghosts. All ghosts are specters, but not all specters are ghosts. You know what I mean?
After playing Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales on PlayStation 5, it would have been pretty tough to go back to the PS4 version of 2018's best superhero game. Fortunately, Insomniac has retrofitted Peter Parker's adventure with all the outstanding tech it developed for Miles, including improved lighting and frame rates, ray-traced reflections, lightning-fast load times, and DualSense haptic feedback. And they replaced Peter's face, which is weird, but at least it showcases the major improvements to facial animations. This is a game that was already worth replaying on PS4, but now that it's on PS5, it's a great time to revisit New York and see it at its best.
Open the safe! Do it!
Hey, fellas.
Ah! Spider-Man! Shoot him!
Back in my original Marvel Spider-Man review, I called it great, highlighting its awesome swinging through New York City, its excellent Peter Parker story, and battles with familiar villains. I griped a bit about some suit powers being way better than others, and the repetitive optional missions being a drag, but it's overall one of the best superhero games ever made. 2 years later, all of that remains true, even next to the open-world side mission improvements I just played in Miles Morales. Insomniac's original Spidey tale is still a great Peter Parker adventure, even with a new face. Yes, it's certainly a little jarring at first, but I pretty quickly grew accustomed to this new look, and now I've come to like it actually quite a bit more than the originals. It looks more age-appropriate and more in line with the boyish but confident charm of Yuri Lowenthal's performance. The first moments of Peter and Mary Jane on screen together delighted me as much as they did the first time around, and the improved facial animations, less plasticky skin, and realistic hair tech gave me something new to look at in addition to their chemistry. It's a big step up.
This is a trick question, isn't it?
Saved by the siren.
Characters benefit from the redone lighting system, and so does everything else it touches. From beautiful moments at dusk as the sun fades, to indoor interiors of Fisk Tower using the building's many modern light fixtures to more realistically brighten the space, everything just looks more beautiful. And married with ray-traced reflections in the fidelity mode, New York comes alive in a way that just wasn't possible on the PS4. I mean, seriously, it has turned one of Spider-Man's most common tasks, stopping a car chase, into a beautiful light show of neon signs reflecting off cars and buildings.
So cold!
The DualSense is used pretty much exactly as it is in Miles Morales, which is excellent. I may never get the sensation of web slinging in real life. I mean, I hope I do someday, but who am I kidding? But the DualSense's haptic feedback vibrations and trigger resistance do an admirable job of recreating what I imagine it'd be like. Likewise, if you have a 3D audio headset like the Pulse 3D, you get a nice extra level of immersion. But of course, my soundbar still does a perfectly good job of capturing the layered sounds of Insomniac's New York as I swing through the streets. Even if you've already beaten or even platinumed it on PS4, I'd recommend checking out how much more vibrant Insomniac's New York City is. It's a different time of year than Miles Morales' Christmas setting, so it felt different even though I had just played that game. And all the fun of the gameplay is still there. Peter's swinging and acrobatic combat flows just as well as I remember, and even more smoothly now when you choose the new 60 frames per second performance mode. I still find myself leaning heavily toward my few suit mod preferences, and the side missions aren't any more diverse, but that's a remaster for you.
Spider-Man, I think I figured out how Fisk's men are keeping his rackets running. Construction sites.
Wasn't that shut down when he was arrested?
The remaster does also benefit from bundling all 3 DLC episodes of The City That Never Sleeps. That's another 10 hours or so of play, and it adds a largely satisfying comic book mini-arc that includes fantastic character work with Black Cat and Silver Sable. You take the bad with the good in the form of the annoying screwball missions, but these episodes work much better together than they did as separate episodes released a month apart each. On top of that, and the free suits Insomniac put out, the remastered edition has been enhanced with quality of life improvements like the near instantaneous load times and even additions to photo mode to mirror the new lighting features of Miles' version. Plus, Miles Morales' huge suite of accessibility features seems to have been added mostly in whole. There are options to change the contrast of the environment, enemy readability, quick-time event requirements, and much more. Some of these were in the first game, but it's nice to see them enhanced even further here. If recent Spider-Verse stories have taught us anything, it's that anyone can wear the mask, and it's lovely and important that Insomniac has carried that philosophy into its games.
My turn! Keep him on the ground or we're done!
If you've never played Marvel's Spider-Man, what have you been doing the last 2 years? But your procrastination has paid off because the remaster is a much better way to play thanks to the PS5's fantastic lighting effects and loading times. Even as someone who platinumed the original, it's a treat to revisit this improved New York City. The gameplay itself feels largely unchanged, but that still leaves you with a spectacular Spider-Man adventure that's also one of the best superhero games ever made, and a visual treat to kick off the PS5 era. For more, be sure to check out our comparison of the remastered Marvel's Spider-Man on PS4, and watch our review for Marvel's Spider-Man. And for everything else in the world of webheads, you're already in the right place, IGN.
Thanks, Spider Guy.
It's Spider-Man.